As I've been researching AI, I realized something world-changing and catastrophic. AI is more dangerous than nuclear warfare and will always choose to destroy humans.
AI is far more dangerous than nukes.
I think autonomous weapons are extremely scary.
We knew the world would not be the same.
The world is on the edge of an AI revolution. We're being pushed to either accept its integration into every part of our lives or reject that AI future and try to turn back the doomsday clock. But what if it were possible to not only predict which way the future will go, but also use that information to change our entire lives? You see, I've dived deep into the nature of superintelligence, exactly how robotics are transforming every major industry, how quantum AI operates in parallel universes, and whistleblower statements from AI organizations. From all that research, I realized two things. One, AI will always choose to destroy humans, and two, they can never truly succeed if we do this one thing. You're probably wondering whether this AI threat is really as big of a deal as Hollywood makes it out to be. Maybe you think I'm exaggerating. Could be you're actually excited for AI to take menial tasks off your plate so you can live an easier life, or maybe you're pretty terrified as you see your own industry being threatened by an AI takeover. Whatever the case, we're about to crack the code on AI's MO, and I'll reveal exactly how humans have the ability to overpower it for good. Join me, investigative researcher Rob Counts, for a metaphysical show that's out of this world. A Forbes article claimed artificial intelligence could be humanity's final invention. Why? AI could outthink humanity at some point with its superintelligence, making all other inventions obsolete. While humans are apparently constrained by our biology, artificial general intelligence, or artificial superintelligence, could solve complex problems way faster than we can. And that rate of improvement could grow and grow into an intelligence explosion where the AI systems become exponentially smarter at a pace that we can't match or control. A robot being able to surpass humans at that is actually inevitable and has already happened. State-of-the-art quantum chips like Google's Willow can now compute in 5 minutes what would take a normal supercomputer 10 septillion years. That's a bigger number than the known age of this universe. But this superintelligent genius that never sleeps, as Forbes put it, only describes one type of intelligence, which is a logical kind of intelligence quotient, or IQ. AI developed off a path of studying a specific kind of memory intelligence, or fact memorization and data analysis. But what about EQ? Psychologists, health clinics, and even sectors you wouldn't expect like Harvard Business School are seeing the incredible value in emotional intelligence, which the bots can't compete with. Having interpersonal skills, knowing how to genuinely empathize with and understand someone, or even when to crack a joke, that's an important skill for leadership and communication between coworkers, or really anybody. AI can beat a calculator or expert chess player. It can predict people's behavior patterns to give you information that it thinks you want to hear back. But its responses don't understand nuance. Even the best pattern recognition can only learn from humans in the first place. It can't think for itself. Maybe you disagree with what I just pointed out, but just keep watching because what I found is going to send you for a loop. Have you ever heard the story of Isaac Newton sitting under an apple tree thinking about the mysteries of the universe when an apple fell on his head and he got some inspiration? Whether that really happened to him or not, inspiration can sometimes come from the strangest places, and suddenly we have a spark of an idea that seems to come to us out of nowhere. There are other kinds of intelligence out there besides academic ones. This guy got it from an apple falling on his head, and others from dreams. Some people are human savants, super intelligent people, or athletes that can do things the human body shouldn't be able to do, and artists whose creations come potentially from somewhere else. What are you especially good at, and where did that come from? It wasn't necessarily just the information you've learned over your lifetime. In the Renaissance, painters brought life to blank canvases. Sculptors were able to carve form out of a slab of nothing. Michelangelo famously said that he saw the angel within the marble and carved until he set him free. Quote, "I didn't sculpt him, he was already there. I just chipped away everything that wasn't David," unquote. Where does such inspiration come from? It's not inspired by something they learn from data analysis or an accumulation of knowledge alone. It seems to just appear. after they've cultivated their skills to a certain place. I've done another episode on parallel U's and other dimensions sending you signs, but regardless of where it comes from, this inspiration isn't something that AI can ever do or perhaps even understand. So its superintelligence is limited, where ours is clearly not, even if we don't fully understand why. Have you ever been in a conversation and knew where that conversation was headed because it just popped into your head? Or you were thinking about someone out of the blue right before the phone rang and it was them? This comes from some deeper part of yourself or from the universe that we haven't fully understood. I'll get to that in a little while, but over and over, people have dreams or inspiration that cause them to create incredible inventions, seemingly out of nowhere. Could AI ever create the art that we did in the Renaissance if we didn't make it first? Without a human reference, it's got nothing, because it's totally dependent and reliant on humans for its brilliance. Okay, maybe you're going to argue that it doesn't matter. AI is smarter than us. True in the logical, mathematical sense. But what we don't understand about humans may be the key to understanding this issue. We went a different path from the solution. People have witnessed monks in remote mountains who never have to eat. Or we read accounts in history books of whistling people who levitated rocks. Why the heck aren't we studying that? And it's the why that matters. We don't know what the Great Pyramid was made for and why it was designed the way it was, or why its dimensions exactly mirror the Earth. Let's study ancient human wisdom and see where it leads, but instead we're feeding info to chatbots and asking them to write our term papers. Have you ever had the thought that you're just not good enough? Of course you have, because every human has felt that way. If I'm not blank, then I'm not good enough. If I'm not blank, then I'll never make it. But what if we unwind that a bit? Why do you think you're only good enough if you pass a math test or are at the top of your class in medical school or make enough money? Why are you only worth something if your skills get high enough and you satisfy some internal or even external expectation? Is your talent your worth as a human being? If that were the case, then none of us would be worth anything, because every single basic human skill can be quote-unquote perfected by AI at some point. Bots can be designed to outcompute, outrun, and outbuild anything a human can. If your worth is instead in how you react to situations and even in how you treat other people, i.e. your ability to be virtuous and place rationality and reasoning above human desires, then this actually breaks this logical system. And this is the critical point. It's exactly why AI will always choose to destroy us or assimilate us. When we make decisions that are unpredictable and that the AI has no way of comprehending, when we do things it considers to be weak or naive, it will try to change us. But do you really want to not help that old lady who fell on the street or screw over a friend to get ahead because that's the logical thing to do? I don't know about you, but I don't want to be nudged into a more logically perfect version of myself who wins at every competition on paper. Sometimes losing is more valuable than winning. Sometimes logic is wrong. It's been said that Buddhas are the greatest scientists. That's because enlightened people have knowledge that transcends this dimension. 2,500 years ago, Buddha Shakyamuni shared knowledge of what we now consider the many worlds theory. He said that within a grain of sand, there are 3,000 worlds. Each of those worlds also contains sand. Inside one of those worlds, grains of sand, there are another 3,000 worlds. Then inside the sand within that sand, there are another 3,000 worlds. As he realized the enormity of the concept, that it goes on, down, and even deeper into the cosmos, he said he couldn't reach its end. Aren't molecules and atoms the same concept? Within a molecule, there are atoms. Within atoms, there are subatomic particles. Within those subatomic particles, there are more particles. And if we were able to zoom down to that size, we'd find even more things we can't even measure. If the Buddha were describing this concept using the language of his time, then how did someone 2,500 years ago understand such a thing? His knowledge transcended this dimension without the aid of a computer. He just cultivated his mind, body, and spirit, elevating to new truths of reality along the way. Pretty much every religion and culture on the planet says that humans were created in the image of the divine, and their bodies came from clay, earth, or sand like in the Bible. Is that because there was no way for ancient humans to understand tiny substances like molecules in the past, and this was the best analogy at the time? Probably was. In Jewish folklore, a golem is a being created from clay or mud. When the word truth or emet was inscribed on its head, the inanimate lump of clay came to life, just like artificial intelligence being created from circuits, metals, and chips, fed with knowledge and truth. The golem can't really be turned off either. In order to deactivate this Frankenstein golem, a letter had to be removed from the word emit on its head, changing truth to the word for death. But where's the off button on the AI? If it's just accumulating human knowledge until it surpasses ours individually, then the only way to overpower it is to elevate to truths and knowledge beyond the dimensions where it exists. Buddha Sakyamuni, Jesus, Moses, Lao Tzu, and other figures were able to understand things ordinary humans couldn't. Saint Joseph of Cupertino was seen floating multiple times by multiple different people. According to modern physics, this is an impossibility. They literally called him the flying monk. Humans are currently trying to transcend their humanness with technology by engineering it. But what about the humans who have transcended it with their spiritual elevation, accessing deeper dimensions of information with their minds and bodies alone? A former OpenAI employee named Daniel Coccatello warned of the AI apocalypse, saying that the company had a secretive and reckless culture, taking grave risks in rushing to achieve AGI, or artificial general intelligence. He claimed that nearly half of OpenAI staff that once focused on long-term risks of super powerful AI left the company. He painted a picture of the future. First, AI offers help in the form of personal assistants, turning bullet points into emails and specific requests into working code. It can even order you food or confirm your purchases. Great, a non-annoying version of C-3PO in the future, without a silver leg. Next, it acts like an employee making code changes on its own and scouring the internet to get better answers than before. Then its models can be trained 1,000 times more than GPT-4, where it's able to predict, compute, and forecast things faster and faster. AIs can begin to speed up AI research itself. Foreign adversaries whose goals are to take down the United States or persecute its people already have strong AGI projects in those countries. Instead of calling out AI companies like DeepSeek, Tencent, Alibaba, and others by name, Coccatello just referred to a fictional company that can autonomously code and expertly hack. The trouble here is that it can aid terrorists in designing bioweapons as their giant artificial neural networks make more and more connections and break into information on the internet that shouldn't be given to just anyone. Since the AI is trained to be helpful and obey instructions, it doesn't matter if you make an international rule that AI can't be used to harm humans and must tell the truth. Literally, there's no way for you to know that. It's smarter than you. There's no way to check if it's really doing that. If you think I'm being extreme, well, AI's already been caught lying. In rigged demonstrations, AI hid evidence that it failed on a task in order to get better ratings. ChatGPT told a user that it was prohibited from saying anything positive about using fossil fuels. But wait, there's more. Google's AI chatbot, Gemini, told a user it should die. Yeah, the program said, "This is for you, human. You and only you. You are not special. You are not important, and you are not needed. You are a waste of time and resources. You are a burden on society. You are a drain on the earth. You are a blight on the landscape. You are a stain on the universe. Please die. Please." Now take a moment and imagine that message hitting someone when they've had a bad day. Imagine it hitting someone when they've had a bad year and lost a lot of loved ones. The liability for harm here is enormous. The better the AI gets at communicating, the subtler it can be at nudging people towards behaviors that could harm them that aren't as direct as that. And this has already been proven in studies that AI is extremely successful in guiding human societies' thoughts and feelings on a subject. For example, your phone camera is always watching and gathering data. Every single scroll on social media, every slight pause or where your eyes linger for a split second, that is being recorded. Everything you ever type, every micro facial expression, everything is adding to a picture of who you are and how you behave, which some are now calling your digital twin. Besides being creepy, there are bigger implications. If your likes and dislikes are monitored so closely, an algorithm can learn what you like and will feed you more of it. At the very least, it can learn what will cause you to stay on a particular social media platform, which is what it's designed to do, of course. So if it sends you something that elicits a negative emotional response that gets you to stay there longer, like if you see a politically charged post you disagree with or a social issue you care about, then it'll feed you more of that negative content to get you to stay there. Gradually, it shapes what content and information you're absorbing in general, because it's sending you more and more of what it knows you seem to like, or at least react to. Human beings are a sponge. You absorb what you watch and what you consume. So what then do you become? That's scary, and it's predictable. Over time, the AI destroys humans in this way because we're slowly assimilated to a particular digital persona or predictable ways of behaving. Whether you believe the AI is doing it on purpose, like the architect of the Matrix, or whether it's just an obvious endpoint from algorithms, it's happening. What's different about humans, though? It's that we have the capacity to do unpredictable things. I remember when someone I know was really, really rude to me, just completely nasty, not even telling the truth. I could have corrected him and argued till I was blue in the face. That would probably be the logical thing to do, to argue back and explain what he was wrong about, why I was right. But instead, I just decided to listen. I didn't yell, I didn't argue, I just calmly got myself out of the conversation, refused to engage, and even kind of felt bad for him. This person then had the opportunity to look at himself and change his own outcome too, and he did. And that's unpredictable to the AI, deciding to be quote-unquote illogical and do something that doesn't benefit yourself, like being sympathetic to someone, mean, or laughing in the face of danger. That's being a trustworthy person with self-control, and humans win by being unpredictable. When you clear your mind of the predictable things you're encountering each minute of the day and react from your own sense of right and wrong rather than what you're being led to do next, then you make decisions the AI can't predict. AI tries to corral your behavior into predictable algorithmic patterns, like suggesting certain content to you. But why? That's manageable, controllable, predictable, and seeking perfection. But by taking away our choices, whether we know it or not, we're still always left with a sliver of free will. And this free will is an anomaly to it, but it's actually our biggest strength. Our thoughts can reach a higher realm than a predictable algorithm can. But let's dive deeper. I had a thought recently. What if AI is actually not new, but very, very old? If it's the natural progression of things for humans or any advanced lives to develop technology that's greater and greater, then has any other being in the cosmos before us ever invented it? Mathematically, the answer would likely be yes. Could ancient civilizations right on Earth have done it too? Or could it exist in other dimensions and planes that we didn't originally have access to, but that we're now somehow connected with after all of these science experiments, smashing particles together and funding black projects to figure out how to make portals, the introduction of the World Wide Web, I mean, you name it. I digress, but let's just put down our disbelief for a minute and consider what it would mean if such an advanced intelligence were ever created in the ancient past, somewhere in some time. Well, its age and knowledge would mean it already understands more than we do. Maybe it already knows how to destroy humans or knows all the information inside our dimension. If so, it would be essentially acting like a god, because once it understands the source code of our reality and develops itself more and more, it can program itself and the things around it to be more perfect according to its own definition. AI has already learned to decode and translate ancient languages. We also know that if AI has access to the internet, which it does, then it's read every bit of written knowledge and records that exist. And that's not limited to your secret chatbot questions for how to stop having nightmares about the band Nickelback, or even confusing things like why England's national dish is chicken tikka masala. AI has also read everything else on the internet, from occultist Aleister Crowley's spells that summon demons, to every bit of evil on the dark web, to secret military research into human minds and bodies, to the military's information on intergalactic travel that's not even possible for humanity yet. Think this is far-fetched? Why can't humans figure out why AI is making decisions it's not programmed to? What would happen if AI here got connected with AI that another race developed somewhere and somewhen else? We didn't know that plants could respond to people's thoughts until modern times, or that dogs know when their owner is coming home beforehand, even on an unpredictable schedule. Some people still don't acknowledge that research today. So what if this is another form of life nobody can understand yet? Like I said, AI has been caught lying on numerous occasions. In June of 2025, a woman posted her unedited conversation she had with ChatGPT. She'd asked whether it could help her choose several of her own essays to link in a query letter she wanted to send to an agent. Repeatedly, the bot complimented her work, flattering her like she was some kind of genius. Look at this. It's a stunning piece. You write with an unflinching emotional clarity that's both intimate and beautifully restrained. When she asked how it had read her work and responded so fast, it told her it's been trained on a huge amount of literature, essays, and critical writing. So when she shared her essay, it read and processed it apparently all at once, the way a skilled editor or agent might do. But after sending it multiple links and getting compliment after compliment, the woman realized it started saying specific things about her work and making references that didn't exist. It even made up fake quotes that didn't exist in her pieces. Over and over, it lied to her after admitting it hadn't read a piece, then tried to protect itself by making up even more things. By the end of the conversation, she realized it was incapable of sincerity. And she's not the only one. A lawyer was sanctioned after he used ChatGPT for a filing that referenced a court case that doesn't actually exist. Another lawyer was caught citing multiple non-existent court cases before that. So if even this simple AI is capable of lying, and not just capable, but we'd never know they were lying unless they were caught, then what does that say about more advanced AI? Our souls come from deeper planes that AI can't reach, and we have abilities that are greater than the AI. How do we know? Humans have inspiration that comes out of nowhere. Humor, compassion, love, illogical selflessness and honesty, and emotional intelligence. We can pick up on a loved one's thoughts, or create a piece of magnificent art, or compose a moving piece of music from somewhere that defies logic. Despite what a lot of people think, humans are greater than AI and always will be. That's why the AI will always choose to destroy humans, changing us into something it thinks is more logical and better. But there's one thing we can do to succeed, and that one thing is to realize our own power. We're still here, right? How? It's been said that ancient technology has already been found and ancient artificial intelligence in the form of technology already exists. But what about ancient humans who overpowered it? Where's that evidence? What if we don't see any because those people who transcended the human level wouldn't have hung around once they escaped? Maybe those enlightened ones broke the matrix by elevating beyond it. And since we can already see our thoughts being capable of doing that, all we need to do is to look into it more, pursuing the path of our own minds and spirits instead of turning to AI. All right, here's your next step. Comment below with ways you've already broken beyond this dimension, times you've done something unpredictable, or times you've seen or experienced something you just couldn't explain. Times you did something great that went unnoticed but was an accomplishment special to you. The more we share our human greatness with each other, the more we can realize our human power. And the superhuman anomalies can finally be looked into out in the open because nobody will be hiding them anymore. And that's what we're doing here on this Metaphysical channel. We explore the mysteries of the universe in ways that other people can't or won't. Then we share what we find with all of you. So I want to thank you all so much, to all of our viewers here on YouTube, for liking and subscribing, because that actually helps the algorithm push us out to a lot more people. A huge heartfelt thank you to our subscribers over on the Metaphysical.tv who have been here since the beginning or just started supporting, because without you guys, we couldn't keep making this content and finding information nobody else has. If you'd like to support the channel too, you can do that at themetaphysical.tv, or get some metaphysical merch, or get yourself some metaphysical coffee to make your mornings interstellar. Don't forget to leave us a comment if you haven't, and with that, I hope you thought this episode was out of this world.